Hello again, Math 2 students. This is part 2 of lesson 2.11, comparing and ordering rational numbers. We left off on number 4. Again, we're on page 128. So 128, number 4, we got as far to say 3.8 is greater than 3.6 repeating. However, what we want to look at is what form did they give it to us in the book? So on page 128, look at number 4. They did not give it to us as a decimal, so we don't want to leave our answer in this form. We want to put it back in the form that they gave it to us in. So they gave it to us as 3 4/5, and they wanted us to compare that to 3 2/3. So which is larger? Okay, we can use the decimal answers to determine our answer, and there we go. 3 4/5 is greater than 3 2/3. That's our answer to number 4. Let's look at number 6. Number 6, they give us decimals and they want us to compare them. So we have 405 and we have 0.45 repeating. That means it's going to go 45, 45, 45, and so on. So the way we determine this is we look at what's in front of the decimal. All right, that's a 0. Both of those are zeros. Then we go, they have the decimal in the same spot. Then they have a 4. This is also a 4. Well, that's still equal. Then we can move on to the hundreds place and look, we have a 0 here and a 5 here. Which is larger? The 5 is larger, so the alligator wants to eat the larger number. So we're going to draw it this way. So here the answer is 0.405 is less than 0.45 repeating. All right, let's look at number 8. Number 8 says order the numbers from least to greatest. Now number 8, they give us a mixture of decimals and fractions. We have 0.55 repeating. We have the fraction 3/4. We also have a decimal 0.505, and they want us to do those from least to greatest. Well, we need to get them all in the same form. Decimal form is easiest to see, so what we need to do is make sure that we put this 3/4 into a decimal. What does 3/4 look like as a decimal? Well, we can do this one of two ways. We can say, okay, let's put the 4 on the outside and the 3.00 on the inside and do the math like that. Or we can say, okay, 3/4. It doesn't go into tenths because this is the tenth spot. It doesn't go into 10, but it will go into 100, right? 4 times 25 gives me 100, so 3 times 25 gives me 75. Well, how do I write 75 hundredths as a decimal? I would put 0.75. So now I know what the decimal value of 3/4 is. All right, so let's compare these two. We can say, okay, they all three have a 0 in the same spot. Then they have their decimal. Here we have a 5, here we have a 5, and here we have a 7. So we know that this value is going to be the largest. Well, we don't want to write 0.75 because that's not the way we were given. It was given to us in the problem. So we want to use 3/4. So 3/4 is the greatest. So we're going to write that down. Now we need to determine which is greater out of these two. So then go on to the 5 and a 0. Well, the 5 is greater, so that's going to go in the middle. 0.55 repeating, and remember they wanted at least to greatest, so the lowest is going to go all the way to the left, 0.505. So here's our answer. Remember, when writing your answers, you want to leave your fraction as it was in the problem. You don't want to put this decimal in as your answer. All right, let's go ahead and let's look at number 10. Number 10 is very similar. They want us to order the numbers from least to greatest. They give us a fraction, 5/8. They also give us a negative number, 0.5 0.875, and then they give us a positive decimal, 0.877. Well, right away, I can see that the negative is going to be smaller than the positive values. So let's go ahead and put that as the least, and I'm going to skip a little room there. So we got 0.875, that's the lowest. I know that's the lowest. I don't know what this is as a decimal, so let's try to do that. Remember, 8 is going to go on the outside, 5.00 is going to go on the inside. Now we're going to raise the decimal up to the roof. 8 into 5 is 0. We knew that was going to be a 0 because the number on top is less than the number on the bottom. Now, if the number on the top is greater than the number on the bottom, this value here would be a number larger than 0. So 8 goes into 5 0 times. 8 goes into 50 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. Subtract and we get a 2. Well, we can keep going, but there's really no need to keep going to get the actual answer, because this is 0.6 something and this was 0.8 something. So we know that 0.6 something is less than 0.8 something. So we can say this comes next, which is our fraction 5/8. And then we've got 0.877. That is our largest. Now, if we wanted to go ahead and finish this out, we could. We could say 6 times 8 is 48. Subtract and bring down a 0. 8 goes into 20 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. Subtract and bring down a 0 and we get 40. 8 into 40 goes 5 times 5 times 8 is 40, and when we subtract we get 0. So that complete answer would be 625, which is less than 0.877. Remember, don't put the decimal value that you got from the fraction, put the fraction if that's what they give you in the problem. So now you should be able to do your assignment for 2.11.